What's up, beautiful people? So, for some reason, it seemed the previous leaders of nations loved and appreciated Vladimir Putin better than the people leading right now. Because we had seen a video of the previous American leader. I don't know if that was, I think that might have been George Bush. He almost praised, I'm saying almost because he said good things, but I don't want to call it a praise directly. But he said good things about Vladimir Putin. And now we're seeing another text. This one is from the Austrian foreign minister, and in quotes, according to the title, says Putin described as most intelligent gentleman by former Austrian prime minister. And this is from BBC. If it's from BBC, we can we at least say it's from a reliable source, or maybe close to reliable source. Some of you might disagree, but it's BBC still. They have some reputation, right? Anyways, let's check this video out.
Dancing the Waltz, Vladimir Putin and Karin Kneißl in 2018. Then Austria's foreign minister, she'd invited Russia's president to her wedding. A private visit, strictly. But just a few months after the Salisbury poisonings, which the EU, like the UK, had linked to the Russian state. Now, with her boxer Winston Churchill, Karin Kneißl has moved to Russia to run a think tank. She claims that after leaving office in 2019, back home she struggled to find work because she was seen as too close to Russia.
Our government imploded in May 2019, and I wanted to restart my life as an analyst, as a university teacher, and I had to find out that there was not a single contract left, and that was political pressure. So when you don't have a single contract, it was not really easy to restart. In spring this year, I received the offer by a director of St. Petersburg University whether I would like to run an interdisciplinary institute, and they mentioned what they would like to see in there. And for one night I was doing brainstorming with myself, and I created the name Gorky, which is the acronym for Geopolitical Observatory for Russia's Key Issues.
Do you understand that it is hugely controversial for a former Austrian foreign minister to move to Russia at a time when this country has launched an unprovoked full-scale invasion of its neighbour, of Ukraine? Isn't there a danger that by being here you are legitimizing the invasion, the war, and also the domestic repression that takes place in Russia?
Well, so far I have not seen any sort of repression in my immediate surrounding. I can work here in a kind of academic freedom, which I started missing when I was still teaching at various universities inside
But just a few days ago, in this city, not far away from this building, a young Russian woman was sent to prison for 7 years for replacing some price tags in a supermarket with anti-war slogans. There is definitely a wave of repression taking place in Russia.
Yeah, and so what do I have to do with that? I just explained at length the situation that I've been going through. So let us put it, the whole thing to the other way. Why was Karin Kneißl forbidden to work? Where is my crime?
But do you condemn the invasion?
Sir, if you have seen my interview with your esteemed colleague Stephen Sacker, I answered his interrogation, and I'm not interested in having another interrogation.
I'm asking you whether the Russian invasion is, in your view, entirely illegal.
Like any outbreak of war is a violation of international law. Yes, that I just replied.
It's just that you're now living and working
yes, I'm living
in
here,
Russia.
and then I was traveling to Russia, and your esteemed colleague, Mr. Sacker, did this interrogation with me. BBC did it already.
But you're studying the geopolitical situation,
yes,
right? And you can't look at the geopolitical situation in Europe or the world without focusing on the war in Ukraine. Surely that is, which has turned the world upside down.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that it has turned the world upside down, honestly not. Having written about geopolitics for 25 years, I would say a war that has definitely turned the world upside down is the war in Iraq.
2018, we had the Salisbury poisonings, right? Then dozens of Russian diplomats.
Highly likely, yeah, to take the British term.
That it was linked to the Russian state, yes.
Highly likely.
So you don't believe that the...
I don't know, I just quote the British authorities, highly likely.
But just a few months after, of course, you invited Vladimir Putin to your wedding and you danced with him and you curtsied to him. You understand how controversial that must have been then.
Yeah, by the time I was the foreign minister and by the time I danced with President Putin, but you see, I have done other things in my life before and after, and honestly, it's so boring. Honestly, it's very boring.
To talk about the wedding?
Yes.
So we should just...
I think there are other more interesting topics we can discuss, honestly.
You have no regrets?
I consider it as honestly boring, and the dog just fell asleep and was snoring because he knows the topic.
The dog's not interested. But people are amazed still. I'm not saying that Vladimir Putin is your close friend, but you've met him. You've met him. From your meetings with him, what kind of a person do you think he is?
He is the most intelligent gentleman, with the focus on gentlemen, and I met a few. I would say that in the sense of what Jane Austen wrote about the accomplished gentleman in Pride and Prejudice, he amounts to these standards.
This idea of President Putin as a sort of a Jane Austen gentleman might surprise some when you consider what's happened in recent years.
Yes, I stick to this statement. He's the most intelligent and accomplished gentleman I ever met.
Objectively, we're seeing...
Why are you trying to get her to say otherwise? You're asking her opinion and she stated it. Yeah, anyways, he's doing his job, right?
A wave of repression domestically, and we've seen Russia invade Ukraine. It's hard to classify that as a gentlemanly action.
Well, Tony Blair, Cameron, they all were involved with their governments being involved in military actions. Libya, Syria.
Finally, you say that there are people in Austria who've accused you or accuse you of high treason, accuse you of being...
A Russian spy.
A Russian spy. Can you, to an extent, understand?
No, not to an inch. Not even to an inch. I don't understand it. It's just dirty fantasy.
Yeah, she definitely held her grounds. That was a good interview, and the interviewer did a good job pushing, but she's very, she said what she had to say. The thing I don't usually appreciate is, in situations like this, why is it that people always try to get somebody to condemn the other? It's kind of like, Russia did this, Russia did that, condemn them. If you condemn the action, it's okay, that's your decision to make. But why are you trying to push somebody else to make the other decision? You're trying to get them to be for or against. Can't they just be themselves? Be in the middle? Just, I don't know, stay and don't have any thoughts. There are a lot of people that don't have, if you go to like African countries, maybe like Nigeria where I'm from, and ask people, what do you think about Russia and Ukraine? People don't care because they have to eat that day and they don't even know where the food is going to come from, right? I understand that she was the foreign minister who writes about geopolitics, but maybe she just wants to live in a good place and have a job and, live her life. And maybe she knows the side of Putin, maybe a soft and emotional side that some people might not know, and understand certain things that some people do not understand, and wouldn't criticize Putin for that reason. It's kind of like you have some kind of relationship, or somebody beyond what is the external image other people might see the person has. It's like your boss at work. The way you know your boss at work is not the same way the person in the house or the person the next door neighbor knows your boss at work. So the perception might be different. So getting them to condemn this person necessarily wouldn't happen, which, clearly did not happen in that video. Does that mean she's a bad person? Not necessarily, though. Does that mean she's a Russian spy? Not necessarily. I don't know. Just my opinion, though. I might be entirely wrong, but feel free to let me know. Share your thoughts on this one. It's the end of this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.